Well, welcome back to Turning Pages with Bree. So glad you chose to spend a little of your TIME time with me. And this is a video going to be wrapping up February. I'm actually probably going to put this in two or at least two videos. So this is going to be the first half, and then I will come back on and finish it up because I actually ended up reading so far, because I'm a little ahead of time. Recording this is actually the 24th today, but I'm going to come back and finish the video up after February actually officially ends. But right now I have read 14 books between my Kindle, my physical books, and also the audiobooks. So anywho, had another good reading month. Really wasn't attempting to read that many books, but because when I start, I just kind of don't stop, especially because when I'm listening to books, audiobooks, they go faster because I'm working and I'm listening, and it's just one of those things where it's continual. And then some of the books that I actually physically read were short books. They didn't have a lot of page. It just wasn't a long or thick book. I had a couple that were thick, and so I'm still in the midst of actually finishing one of those up. But anywho, I'm going to come back on and finish this video out once February actually ends, which I will think that maybe I'll have one more book in there. Right now, like I said, it's 14. So we'll see where it ends when I come back in March. So anyways, but I wanted to split it up because there's so many books. I didn't want to have to just talk about, or I didn't want to talk about so many books on one take. Wanted to give myself a breather because I want to make sure that I'm giving a good representation of what I remember about each book. And if I don't force myself to talk about them all in one setting, I think I'll do better. So anyways, we're going to start out with my first couple of books that I read, which was J.L. Seeger's Restore Me, which is a series. And this is the first one, Restore Me, in the series. And this book, I actually started towards the end of January, ended up finishing it in the beginning of February. And so I actually have some of the series, not all of the series that I've actually purchased, because I think it's like 6 books total. So anywho, this is my first time reading J.L. Seeger's. I've heard some good things about her on the different social media forums or whatever, and so I was eager to start this particular series because I was wanting to see what all the hype was about, right? Wanting to see what everybody was talking about. Well, okay, so the first book I'm going to be talking about that I read was Restore Me. Okay, so Restore Me is a series. Series. It's the first book in the series, and it deals with the female main character, which is Sloane, and the male main character, which is Dominique. Okay, Sloane is a widow. She's lost her husband. It's been like 4 years post her husband passing away, right? So we're after that, or we're at that point in her life where she's single at this point in her life, but she still, of course, grieves her husband because she's young. They didn't have any children or anything, but they got married shortly, from what I can understand, after college. And so anyways, Dominique was the husband's best friend, and he was his best man. However, Sloane and Dominique end up connecting through work together again, which they have always had somewhat of a connection because of him being the late husband's best friend, and he also was intertwined, of course, with their family because he was the best friend. So he's also good friends with the late husband's sister and mother, and he kind of steps in and you know, is always there, you know, kind of like helpful and just a big part of their family. So Sloane really never, I guess, doesn't have a time where she really don't have him around, but not to the degree that he ends up becoming, or not to the degree that they end up, okay, because of a work project that they end up having to do together. And that gives them close proximity to one another. And of course, that ends up rekindling, or not rekindling, but because I don't want to give anything away. But anyways, it ends up being a thing, okay? I won't say any more about it, but it definitely has some good, interesting twists and turns. I would definitely say this is a good read. I wanted to dive right into the next book because it goes over other characters that you meet in the first book and their relationships. So I want to definitely go ahead and find out what's going to go on. It's called the New Haven series. So anyways, I'm all for it. I enjoyed the book. The writing style was good. It kept you interested. If you are a romance girly and like to read good romance, it's good romance, and it has the spice. So let me just say this clearly: if you are not comfortable with spice, this is not going to be the read. Now, it is appropriately placed, I would say, spice, and it is not over the top. So it's not like every other chapter, but it is consistently spice in the book. So you are going to get your spice in this one. So I would definitely, if you are one that likes and enjoys to read books that have spice, this will definitely, I believe, satisfy that. So anywho, I enjoyed it. I thought it was good. And I want to read the next book in the series. So anyways, moving right along. The next book I read was The Four Winds. This book was by Kristin Hannah. Now, if you followed what I talked about on previous videos with reading The Nightingale from Kristin Hannah, it made me want to find more books by Kristin Hannah, because that was a 5-star read for me. I just really wanted to see what else was out there that I may enjoy, because I really enjoyed the Nightingale. So found The Four Winds, and at first, I kind of like with the Nightingale, I wasn't sure if it was going to be something that I liked. This is historical fiction again. So it took a second for me to kind of fall into it, but it immediately changed and made me want to read more. So I think that is a ongoing thing with some of her books, is that I first have to kind of get past those first few chapters, and this is just me. And then once I move past that point, then I'm good. Yeah, I'm in, I'm all in. And so I would say definitely, I rated it a 4-star, 4 out of 5 on this one. It deals with basically a young woman who, and this is again back in the day, these, you know, she goes back in history and time. So I'm gonna have to pull up a little bit so I can share with you exactly what it was about. I don't want to give away any spoilers. So yeah, this is in Texas. It starts out in Texas in the 1920s. Okay. So you and I both know, if you don't know, in the 1920s was the Depression, right? It was a time where things were very scarce for our country, and lots of different hardships was going on with people in their lives. So anyways, in Texas, they had, in this particular story, it goes over a family that has this one daughter, and her name, I'm just make sure I get her. All right, so back. I had to go get my journal so that I could be able to tell you these names, because that's one thing the journal does help with me keeping up with people's names, because I write it down after I have completed the book. So anywho, Elsa Martinelli, that is the female main character's name. Okay, and she's the daughter. I don't know how many, I can't remember how many kids her parents have. I think she may have 2 or 3 sisters, but because they're not really the focus of the story. But anyways, she is one of the daughters, but she is presented as one of the daughters that doesn't look pretty. She's just a really plain Jane looking type of young woman, or at least that's what her parents have put in her, have instilled in her, that she's not anything that anyone would take a second look at. So of course you put that in someone's head and make them feel that way at a young age, they take and hold on to it, especially in that day and age. So anyways, she is of course actively looking for some love, someone to have interest in her, right? So she gets this material. I'm not going to give it all away, but anyway, she ends up making a dress for herself that is unlike any other dress that of course she owns. It's pretty and it is really nice, and she's made and she's put it on. She's put herself all together, and she goes downstairs and she's really excited because, you know, she feels like she looks beautiful. Well, her parents immediately kind of tell her, you know, what are you doing with that on, type of thing. And anyways, her father, you know, discourages her, and her parents, you know, discourage her with wearing that dress that she made. Like, how dare you wear something like that? Like, that's not something you would wear, and you're not supposed to be in that. Go take that off immediately and send her away. And so what she does is gets upset and bolts out of the house and runs and ends up going to town, call herself going to get into this, I don't know, like bar place, and they don't let her in, but she ends up walking, I guess, in the town area, and runs into a guy. Let's just say a guy. And anyhow, to make a long story short, they end up together. Okay, so I'm not going to give you all those details, but I'll tell you that they end up together, and from there begins the story. Okay, so you have to go through that build up to get to the meat of what this whole book is about. But it is really captivating, y'all. It is really good, and it takes you down through a whole bunch of stuff that happens to this young woman and the man that she ends up with, and his family, and all the things that happen through their life. Okay, and you will get why it's called The Four Winds. It will make sense. Okay, it will definitely make sense. But anyhow, Kristin Hannah does a great job of drawing you in, making you attached to these characters, and she did it on this one, and then you are just hooked. And so, very good read. Enjoyed it a lot. Definitely recommend it if you are trying to get into your historical fiction bag or era. I would definitely say this is a good way. Hopefully I did an okay job of explaining, but this is a good way to go there. Okay, to just kind of dip your toe in and get wrapped up in something that's of interest. I also was able to read, I'm just going to kind of finish up what else I read by Kristin Hannah. I also read The Great Alone. Okay, and that is another historical fiction book that I was able to read by her. Y'all, The Great Alone. This one, it was a 5-star read for me. I mean, y'all, okay. So this one dealt with, hold on, because I did not write the names down on this one like I normally do. Gotta go back and do that. Okay. I okay, so this one deals with the relationship of mother and daughter mostly, but it's in the 1970s, so it's a little bit, closer to our times, but it's still back in the day. And the mother has a relationship with the father. They're married or whatever, but he is coming back from the war, okay? From, I think it was the Vietnam War, yeah. And so from that time period, they of course come back home with some mental issues, okay? Some real mental issues. So just imagine, it's her, the husband, the mother, the husband, and the daughter, and the things that they have to go through because of his mental illness from being over in the war, and how his thoughts or how his whole mindset has changed from being there. And he becomes this abusive person to the mother, so much so that it just changes the trajectory of their lives forever. Okay, just forever. And but through the whole thing, through all the stuff that happens, the mother and daughter relationship bond is so prevalent. It is so phenomenal, y'all. This mother-daughter relationship is so touching. The things that the daughter, her name is Lenny. And the things that Lenny, and the mother is Cora. So the things that they do to nurture and just to go through all of the different obstacles that confront them is amazing. It just truly is amazing. And I was touched. But I will say this: if you are triggered in any way by abuse, the verbal and physical abuse of parents, then that is probably not a good read, because it is a lot of that going on, or a good bit of it. Not the whole book or anything, but it's definitely prevalent throughout the book because of the father and what all happens. It's a lot. It is a lot. It's heavy. So I definitely advise go in with those trigger warnings, understanding that you're going to be, reading about that. So if that's not something you're comfortable with, then don't choose to read this one. But it was definitely a 5-star read for me. It was just, it was touching. It was heartfelt. It made me cry a little. Kristen Hanna is something else. I mean, I just don't know how else to say it, but she can write the mess out of a story. Okay. So that was The Great Alone. And I don't hear a lot of people talking about The Great Alone like that. So I don't know why it's wasn't hyped up, or at least I haven't heard it being hyped up like I did The Nightingale. But I feel like The Great Alone, definitely worth it, hands down. A beautiful story, just a beautiful story. And read, if you are into getting, like I said, historical fiction, that's your girl. You want to go read her. Okay, moving right along. I was also able to read What You Leave Behind, which is by Wanda M. Morris. Okay, this book was also within that same historical fiction. Oh gosh, sorry y'all, I'm sorry, I'm trying to get out of this so I can see. Anyhow, this was also the historical fiction, okay, but it is done in a different way. I can say that I rated this a 4 stars. It was very good. It was done telling you about, if you're not familiar with what they call gentrification. This is a story that talks about it in great detail. And I don't know if it was supposed to be like a thriller, but it was somewhat of a thriller, but not really to me. This was more, I don't know, it just was a little bit of a mystery, but a historical fiction type of book to me, because this is real talk. This is what's happening every day now. It's dealing with, you know, in a time where people are getting their homes taken or have gotten their homes taken by corporations buying up the property, and they're willing to go so far and so deep into doing the taking of these people's property and land and homes. They're willing to kill for them, you know. And so that's what this deals with, and it is happening all the time. I mean, I don't know specifically of a situation where someone has died behind it, but I could imagine that it's something that probably happens, or, you know, just people being threatened, you know, and things happening that shouldn't happen to anyone. I could see that. I could definitely see it. Anyways, it makes you think. It tells you a lot about, you know, heirs property and how that works. And if you're not familiar with heirs property, it's when basically there's property, land, home, whatever it is, and it's left with no designated person that is going to, so it just passes down to the next of kin in the family. And that's another reason why, of course, we need to make sure that we are leaving a will, leaving instructions of how we want the properties that we have to go. Because when it becomes heirs property, it becomes a lot for a person to deal with. And this book deals with that. It's talking about that in a really good way. I feel like, you know, I feel like she did a good job of explaining how that works, but she put it, like I said, on a more mystery thriller type way, but it wasn't to me too like scary or anything like that. So anyways, I enjoyed the book. I definitely say it's a must read. If you have not read it, check it out. I think you will be pleasantly surprised and enjoy it. So the next book I was able to read was Be With Me, and this is by Miss Alexandria House. This is also a series, and I think this was hold on, let me see, which one was this in here in the series? I'm sorry guys, I'm trying to make sure I give, yeah, this is number 3 in the series. There is 2 other books, but this is the 3rd one. And this one talks about the youngest sister. It's called the Strickland Sisters series by Alexandria House. And this one talks about the baby of the sisters, the youngest. Her name is Nicole. And her love interest is Damon. And he has been in her life since they were kids. They were young and grew up together. And so now they have rekindled that relationship that they had, because they continue to always be friends. But he left and went to the service, I think, and traveled and did all this different stuff while she stayed home, and she was actively just living her life, living the best life she could have, basically just enjoying every part of it. Let me just say it that way. She was a little wild child. And so, but he accepted all of that and some without any qualms. He loved him some Nicole. So anywho, very cute love story. Enjoyed it immensely. Enjoyed the whole series. If you have not, I would definitely tell you, any romance girlies, this is a cute one. You will enjoy the series as well. I liked all 3 sisters, and it was just very good. It was very, very good. So no, I think I rated this one a 4.25. So I definitely recommend that you read it. Another one I was able to read, number 2 in the series, which was Believe in Me. And that one is about the sister, the sister Renee. And it talks about the main male character in there is Lorenzo. And that sister, hold on, let me make sure I'm remembering it right. Oh yeah, so Renee is a she's a what do you call it? She's like a nurse practitioner, I think. I don't know if she was a full doctor, but anyway, she delivers babies. She has a business where she delivers babies. Okay, and she has been married, but the husband that she had, he was trifling, extremely trifling. And so anyway, she's divorced. She got away from him. Finally, she got her divorce finalized. And when she goes to deliver a baby at a home birth, she ends up meeting someone there. Okay, Lorenzo, the love interest there. Okay, and so I won't give all the spoilers away, but it ends really cute. It takes you through some twists and turns, but I totally enjoyed the book. The book was phenomenal. It was just like the Be With Me. I enjoyed it. They have you laughing. They have you just rooting for them as a couple. And you know, it does take you through, like I said, some twists and turns, but it's still good all the way. So I rated that one also a 4.25 for a romance for me. And moving right along. Oh, I read these out of order, but it didn't matter. You can read them out of order and still be okay. The first one I also finished, which was Stay With Me. And that one is about the sister Angela and Ryan. Yeah. And that one, basically, Angela is a natural hair vlogger. Yeah. And hold on. Let me make sure I'm getting, yeah. And Ryan, he's the male main character. Sorry, running over my words. Anyways, their relationship kind of comes about because she owns a duplex and she stays on one side and she rents out the other. Well, the other side came available and he ends up knocking on her door interested in renting out her other side of her duplex. And of course, she ends up renting a duplex out to him. So he's staying right next door and they end up kindling this very intense relationship between the two of them. And anyhow, it's cute. You'll love it. Like I said, those were just fun reads. If you are interested in anything that is going to be kind of lighthearted but fun and cute and make you root for them type of relationships, though that whole series, that's what that's about. So I enjoyed it again immensely, and I rated that one a 4.5. I really enjoyed that one a lot. So just to keep it all clear, it's Stay With Me, Believe in Me, and then Be With Me. And they're all by Alexandria House, the Strickland Sister series. So I am going to stop right here because, like I said, I do not want to make this too terribly long, but I want to come back once I finish in March to talk about all of the books that I have, or not all of the rest of the books that I have read in this month. And then we'll go from there. So thanks for watching on this half, and I will see you guys in a week or so with the rest. All right. Okay, so I had to come back on quickly to share one more book that I actually finished yesterday. And because it's fresh on my mind and I want to talk about it because it was just in my head, it's just still sitting there. So, anyways, this was a thriller mystery and it's called The Last One at the Wedding by Jason R. I'm just going to say Jason R. It'll be up here so you can see exactly what I'm talking about. The book was really good, y'all. I went in kind of blind, didn't know what this book was going to be about, other than what it was going to be, talking about, other than the fact that it was a mystery thriller book. But once I got into it, and you get into it right from the start, it is, interesting from start to finish. Y'all, this book was captivating, must I say. Yeah, it was like that good. But let me tell you, and it was basically told, the story was told from the father's point of view. I won't give any spoilers away, but I wanted to share with you the fact that it deals with the father's relationship with his daughter that is an adult now. She's about to get married. And so she calls the dad up to basically tell him, I've met someone and I'm about to get married, and to kind of, give him a little bit of the information that, hey, I want you to meet this person and, I'm excited. And so anyways, it goes on several tangents from there, but the way that this father loves his daughter it's something serious. And I don't even know if you can, I'm not going to give anything away, but I'm going to just say this. As a parent, and I'm a parent, so I do get it. I don't have any daughters, I have sons. But I will tell you that when you are a parent, you do have this way about you where when it comes to your child, you are just able to overlook a lot, able to get past a lot. I mean, a lot for most of us. But I believe there is possible limitations to what all you can get over. But with this father, not so much. And it was heartbreaking almost to see the length that he was willing to go to help, to just be there, to believe in his daughter. I mean, it was just grappling. In my spirit, I was like, come on. At what point do we face the man in the mirror? At what point do we just say, hey, enough is enough? And it's this way the story is wrote. Like I said, it's just very interesting, and it was a really good read. I went in totally blind, did not know that this was going to take the turn that it took. Didn't guess it at all. Hopefully I didn't give too much of a spoiler. But there again, I just wanted to share while it was fresh on my mind. Definitely think if you are a person that likes a thriller, this would be one I would definitely pick up. I suggest that you pick it up and enjoy the read. It was a good ride. All right. So I'll be back once the month ends and tell you some more of the books that I was able to read for the month of February. All right.